outside kind of the bubble that is the New Yorker scene.
Very cool. Hey everyone, I'm Don Stewart, the artist at ArtistChronicle.com. Today I'm coming to you from the second annual Carolina's Got Art exhibition in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm thrilled to have 3 of my paintings in the exhibition this year, and I want you to meet the founder and juror and see some art from the Carolinas.
Hey, I'm Larry Elder.
Okay.
I'm the founder of Carolina's Got Art in Charlotte, which is a juried art competition for artists in the 2 Carolinas. This is our second year. Last year we had 1,100 entries from about 435 artists. This year we increased it to 1,800 entries and from about 650 artists. And the juror from New York, Mario Navis, juried the show and chose 136 pieces for the show that you're about to see tonight.
My name is Mario Navis. I am an artist, an art critic, and a teacher who lives and works in New York City. I teach at Pratt Institute in Belmont College, and I'm currently writing for City Arts, which is a bi-weekly journal of the arts in Manhattan, and the New Criterion.
And you're showing in a gallery?
Yes, I'm currently having an exhibition at the Elizabeth Harris Gallery in Chelsea. This was very heartening, curating, judging, being the juror for this exhibition, rather. Just because it's a good reminder that there's art all over the place, and I'm always heartened by I don't want to say necessarily the intensity of all the submissions, but the sincerity. Sincerity isn't the only litmus test for art, otherwise we'd have a deluge of masterpieces, but it does count for something. And early on in the jurying process, I became very much aware of the gravity with which these artists, and the pleasure with which these artists were making their images. You see kind of people with genuine visions, a genuine sense of their craft, a genuine love of their craft, and being pursued for means that go beyond strictly commercial. That it's really, the art becomes a necessity for them, rather than just a device to make some money.
What happened when you saw the images JPEG format, and then you
As
saw them
opposed
in
to here?
Yeah.
It was actually kind of thrilling, I have to tell you, because I always view JPEGs and photo reproductions with a lot of trepidation, because I know they're just part of the story in terms of reproductions of works of art. And you have no sense of scale, have very limited sense of surface, and certainly of color and other things that can go awry in a photograph. I was very pleased to see that a lot of the works improved upon direct contact, and especially some of the sculptural works were very different in scale than I had imagined, even though I had the dimensions listed for me.
Like what's an example?
The Best in Show, which I thought was much larger. And actually, I like the fact that it's much smaller, but it still kind of generates a large space around it. So it was very good to see the work, and to see work that held up and that stated its case as kind of a unique object, and in terms of its crafting, and in terms of the visions being put forth.
I'm Dave Temple of Temple Media, one of the title sponsors of Carolina's Got Art. Temple Media is a media company that produces anything from commercials and industrial and corporate videos to short and independent feature films, which I have a couple under my belt. I'm donating all my services of all the video to chronicle this event, from YouTube viral videos to sales and marketing pieces to a mini documentary.
I know you're a busy man. You've got a lot of different projects going on. Tell me about a few of those.
Thank you for asking that. First of all, I've got a novel coming out in the next 30 days called White Grace. It's a family drama about the redemptive power of forgiveness. Next, I'm shooting a short film in the next 2 weeks. It's a French-inspired 1970s film that I'm creating, because I never like to do the same thing twice. It's a romantic story, kind of a fantasy, and that'll be shot in 2 weeks, be available by the end of probably November. I start work on my next novel, which is a psychological thriller that is also going to be done into a screenplay. My real passion besides art is filmmaking. So what I'm trying to do is create a film fund so that I can create more and more of my stories and help people like you and others who want to create their video film stories.
One thing we're doing this year, which is a little bit different from what we did in our inaugural year, we really have what we call 3 shows within a show. And what I mean by that, we have the show that's here at Atherton Mill in Charlotte. And during the opening event, where we had those 1,000 people who attended, we had set up a theater, which the theme of it was Through the Eyes of the Juror. We took the images that the artist sent to the juror to review, and we created a large screen. It was like a theater where we were showing those works. And the artist's work was identified by artist and by title. And we have a system that would identify how much it costs, so we're selling the work for those artists who are participating in that. So that's show number 2. The third show is going to be held October 15th at Elder Gallery, and this is the Carolina Salon 2010. I have selected about 40 pieces that will be shown in Elder Gallery here in Charlotte through November 30th. Our intent now is to try to find locations around the 2 states where we can travel a subset of the show. So we're looking for locations to do that. We have commitments in Greenville, South Carolina, North Augusta, South Carolina. I believe we're entertaining an exhibition in Winston-Salem, and a couple of other locations that we're still working on at this point. We're going to select from the show maybe anywhere from 25 to 40 pieces that will constitute the traveling show.
On a side note, my painting Contrast with Eggs will be in that traveling show.
There are certain things I value in art making, and having come from a very traditional training, and in training with the figure, and in training with representational images, I'm always intrigued and often sometimes envious of people who can deal with that kind of vocabulary in a really coherent and really convincing way. It has to do with kind of level of technical skill, whether it's the way to depicting light or volume, or even a sense of character, proportion, anatomy, all these kind of traditional values that they're very, very dear to me. It's kind of an interesting narrative, and I don't know what the narrative is necessarily, but the whole notion of pulling back the cloth and having this this woman kind of gaze at you, this very much is a painting about someone, this person looking at us. It becomes very immediate, somewhat intimate, and also a little unnerving. I love the use of white. White is a very difficult color to deal with without really kind of lousing up the entire composition. But I'm also intrigued by the scale of the image, the sense that this, because I see that in your other paintings, the eggs that are larger than life. But this is just like a hair larger than life.
Oh yeah.
Just that shift in human scale makes a huge difference in terms of not only kind of pictorial impact, but also I think psychological.